Okay, so I got something very exciting in the mail today. It is from like a mutual follower on Instagram. Her name is Made It Michaela. She lives on the West Coast. She sells very similar things of like stationery, stickers, pens. I think she has like some clay figurines, but her theme is very like plants and green. So I'm so excited to get this. We plan to send each other our like Secret Santa gift exchange like early in October, but because of the hurricane, for some reason her package got lost in the mail and she had tracking on it and everything, so I felt so bad that it got lost. But I'm so excited it's finally here and I'm so excited to open it up. Have it open. So excited to see what's inside. Let's see. So oh my gosh, it's so well packaged. Like everything is put into this like little plastic sleeve. I can already see a bunch of stuff that I love. There's like a spam sticker, a hot day club of like ramen here, and then a notepad. Oh my god, this is so cute. And then there's a sticker of like a bee and the wings are leaves and it says belief in you. That's so cute and like so motivating. Like again, she's a very big plant person, so that's why she has a lot of like plant-based kind of like a plant theme in her drawings and her art, so I'm excited. Let me just make sure there's nothing else. Okay, cool. And then she has this like, oh my god, stop. She has in bubble wrap. I also have like pink bubble wrap, which is funny that we both have it. Is, oh my gosh, stop. It is a little like spam musubi pin. Oh, that is so cute. Oh my gosh. And like I love spam musubis, so I just love this so much. I'm gonna put it on my backpack, I think. Oh, this is so well made and everything. But I love this. Let me just open this one up as well, just like show you everything. Oh my gosh, there's a little note that says thank you Indy and it's like personalized and everything. And her notepad. Oh, and then a private note. The spam musubi sticker, and these are like really good quality stickers. It's like so smooth. Oh my gosh, she actually gave me a lot of stuff, and I think this is her business card. Yeah, and I love that it's like rounded and everything too, and there's like a QR code that's probably gonna go to her like website or like just a link tree of some sort. Oh my gosh, so she gave me like way more than I feel like I gave her, which now I kind of feel bad, but I'm just like so grateful that she gave me all of these things and it's so cool. But like a little bit background about like me and Michaela is like I think we follow each other just randomly one day, maybe like a year or two ago, and she's been so supportive of like just engaging with my stuff and everything. And then just a few months ago I was invited to be part of like this Vista collective, which is part of Vistaprint, and like being one of their ambassadors. So I saw on the list that she was on it as well. I think she joined earlier in the year, and so it's like such a common thing that we both have now, and because of that we were like, let's do this Secret Santa together. And she sent me a bunch of stuff that's like made from Vistaprint actually, and it's giving me some inspo on like what I should be doing. Like for example, like this thank you card, I have this too, but I don't have this like paper, and I'm like, oh, I kind of love this paper, maybe I should also do it with my stuff. And I know this notepad is also from Vistaprint, and I actually really want to get into notepads too. I only have one notepad ever and I want to like just expand it a little bit more, so now I'm like, maybe I should make more notepads from Vistaprint because these look really good and looks really professional. I love how that it's printed like so clear, and I also love her little like wrap around. I think that makes it even more professional. And I also love like how she put her whole like order in a little plastic sleeve. I usually do it individually, which now that I'm thinking about it is such a waste of plastic that maybe I should just put it all in one and call it a day. and it looks just like nicer and more fun to just open this whole thing, and there's a bunch of stuff coming out of it. And yeah, so I'm so excited that like we're both in this like Vista collective together and being able to learn from one another and kind of like becoming closer friends because of it as well. And we both are just like thriving in this small business world at the same time. I feel like we're both like in the same kind of journey where we started like a year or two ago, and we're doing pop-ups at the same time. So it's just nice to have like a friend that like supports you in that way, especially like when you're going through the same things. And then speaking of Vistaprint, if you didn't already know, a few months ago I was asked to be one of their ambassadors, and this past week they had a kind of like their first ambassador event, kind of full day event here in the city, and I was able to go, and it was full of other like small business owners and everything. So it was so fun to just like chit chat with other people, learn from one another, kind of just see what everyone's kind of up to. And oh my gosh, it was a day, but I kind of just wanted to give kind of a recap of the day. The event started right at 9, and at first like you just get there, kind of mingle with other people as people are coming in, and we all sat in like a long table, so we got to like chit chat with people next to us, in front of us, and we got this like big box. It says Small Business Social Club, which is, I think, is the cutest thing ever, and it's one of their boxes that like they use and they produce. So it was nice to see like what it looks like, because I'm always thinking about like packaging and like what to use, and I feel like I'm using just like envelopes at the moment, but as my products are getting bigger and orders are starting to get bigger, like I'm starting to think about like boxes or even poly mailers. But again, it's just nice to see like what it will look like, and like this is definitely an option of what I would want my boxes to look like, because it has good branding. It's just like so cute. Like I can actually envision how I would do it. Like I would probably put like Happy Mail or something on the sides, and then some like sort of design at the top. I'm not gonna show you what's inside because it's just a mess in there right now, but let me show you like what was initially inside. So it had our agenda, which also is like a sheet from Vistaprint, and again, like with the texture and everything, I'm just like, I might upgrade my thank you cards to this kind of paper because it was good. It had the agenda and everything on the other side. They had a bunch of stickers, which are so cool, and like I'm definitely gonna put some on my laptop to represent. One thing in the box is a notebook and pen, which is, you know, essential for a small business owner, because we're always note-taking, always jotting out ideas, and because it was a long day of just like listening to speakers and everything, it was nice to have like a notebook to just write things down. I was gonna bring my own, but then for some reason I didn't. I think I forgot, and I was just gonna write on my phone, which seems like pretty unprofessional when I'm like trying to listen to somebody. So it's actually nice that they gave us this, and it's such good quality. I think they actually use Vistaprint to make these as well. So it was actually nice like the whole day to see like their products being used, because again, like I'm always trying to expand my assortment and like testing things out, and the paper quality and everything, and just the quality of the book itself was really nice. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a notebook in the future. And then they also, oh, I just noticed this, but like a really good pen actually, and it says Small Business Social Club, which is so cute. Yeah, but anyway, so the first thing that we did was we created like a vision board of some sort. So they gave us like a bunch of pictures in like a postcard format. I actually cut them up already, but it kind of looked like this. It was just like a rectangle of different photos. These are the ones that I didn't use, but this is what my page ended up looking like. I did like a full spread, and it's mostly, I feel like the theme here is, you know, being less perfect and just doing things, but then also like learning when to take a break and live my best life. Because I feel like when you're a small business owner, like one, you're always working 24/7, and you don't want to like post anything or launch anything because you feel like it's not like the best. It's not like it's like not perfect, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like even with my website, like I know that there's gonna be so many like little things that I'm gonna change like throughout the whole process, and I want it to be perfect when I launch it, but I know that that's never going to happen because like even when I'm working for like another brand's website, I have been changing their website for like the years that I've been working with them. So it's like a constant evolution with a website, and it's never going to be deemed perfect when you're launching. It just has to have product, and they just need to be able to check out. That's it. Like that's the bare minimum of your website and how it should be. Everything else, like all the fancy things, like you don't need it right now during launch. And I have to like have that mentality with like everything else. Like it just needs to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, the other side of my page is, again, just learning to take breaks, especially when I now have a full-time job again. I have more days in the office, more responsibilities elsewhere. I'm not always gonna have the time to work on my small business, and right now, the last few weeks of having this kind of schedule, I guess, like I've been going to work, you know, that 9 to 5, but then I have to commute sometimes, so that's like another hour or two, and then after that I work on my small business. And honestly, that's not sustainable because it's just gonna tire me out. I'm gonna be so burnt out from working basically 24/7. Because when I didn't have a job and I was able to focus 100% on my small business, I had that luxury of like taking a break here and there. I didn't have to work after 5. I had my weekends. But now it's like, how do I do everything? How do I fit everything all in my little 9 to 5, 9 to 9, I guess, and not burnt out? So that's something that I'm figuring out. But also I feel like I also have to live my life. I have to hang out with my friends, my family, go on a vacation. So that is the vision for next year, having a better like break system. And then after that activity, we had some speakers come up and they just kind of spoke about various topics. Some of them spoke about like social media and how to combat that, and like some struggles that they've had, some wins, some tactics. And then we also talked a little bit about like just leveling up our business. I know a lot of us are like very online based, maybe sometimes pop-ups, but how do we elevate it so that we can maybe work in retail and like have our stuff in retail? There was this guy that owns like a grocery store basically, and he also sells like cookbooks and things of that sort. So how do we get to that point, especially again for most of us who are mostly selling online? And then in between like all these sessions, all these panel talks, we just got to mingle with one another and get to know each other. There was a few people that I kind of already knew, so it was great to like catch up with them and see how they're doing, especially since holiday time is coming and we're always like so focused on like building our businesses that sometimes we forget to like check in with one another. So it was nice to have like this kind of like day break of like just catching up with one another and seeing how everyone's doing. And then I got to meet like other small business owners that honestly I would have never met without being in this group. Like there was a lot of small businesses coming from DC, and to be honest, I don't go down there that often. I have a few friends there, but like I wouldn't have known about these small businesses without this group. So it was nice to like meet them, see what they're all about. So it's honestly like so nice to like just have this kind of group. And to be honest, the whole group is mostly female, if not all of us were being female. I think there was like one guy there, but he was like someone's partner. So it was just nice to be in this kind of like girlhood, and we're all just striving to, you know, be girl bosses. Then towards the end of the day, we had this like content challenge. We basically had to kind of group up with other people. I don't even know where this video is, and I hope it never goes live because I'm so like cringed out from it, because I'm not someone who does a lot of TikTok dances or like trendy things. So that was definitely out of my comfort zone of being in that position and having to dance in front of a camera and people watching me do it. So I hope that never goes live. But at the same time, it was nice to like be forced, I guess, to be out of my comfort zone a little bit. And it's actually really nice to do content with a group of people, because honestly, if it was just me, I would have never done that. But it was so easy to do with a bunch of girls, and we were all kind of just like hyping everybody up when we're dancing. It's really nice having this like bond with the girls. And I wish like they lived a little closer so that we can make content like this all the time. And then before we left, they gave us a goodie bag, and it's one of their like newer bags with the foils, which I'm like considering it on just making it for myself. And inside it was a Vista Collective hat, and they actually gave us like a different color as well. They gave us a white one. Actually, I don't know if everyone got a white, but I got a white. But then I also got to choose a second color, and I chose the yellow one because I feel like it just screams sunshine and happiness, so that's why I chose this one. But yeah, that was the whole event, and I feel like the whole time that I was there, I felt like the biggest imposter syndrome ever. It's just kind of crazy, you know, being in a room with so many like successful ladies who own these businesses, host these like big ass events for their small business, and I'm kind of just here like I didn't even launch my website yet, and I don't feel like I'm on the same level as most of these girls who make like probably 6 figures off of their small business, and I'm nowhere near that. And I don't even know how I'm gonna get there, and I don't have a plan. But at the same time, I feel like because of these girls, like it makes me wanna just work harder and try to like get to the point where they're at. And like I know that everyone has their own journey or whatever, but it just makes me like feel that like we all kind of started around the same time, 2020, 2021, when the pandemic happened, but I'm not at the same level as them. And honestly, it just kind of makes me feel like, honestly, like I don't really belong in this room, even though we're all in the same room together, no matter how big or small our business is. We're all kind of going through the same journey of wanting to win. And honestly, like all the ladies that I spoke to were super nice. They're super genuine. Everyone wants to just work and like help each other out. Like I asked the dumbest questions ever, and everyone was so willing to just like give advice. So we're all just like wanting to succeed together. No one's really competing with one another, even if we sell kind of similar items. Like it's everyone just wants to see one another succeed. Like I guess in terms of imposter syndrome, I feel like I'm never going to kind of get out of this. There's not like a metric that I'm trying to hit or anything. There's not like a financial number or a number of subscribers or going viral. There's like nothing that I'm like, oh, when I make $1 million, that's when I feel like I'm a legitimate small business owner and I belong in this seat of the table. You know, there's none of those things that's like in my mind right now that's gonna get me out of this imposter syndrome. Like I could be the most successful person to another person and I'm still gonna feel this way. But I guess like just combating this imposter syndrome, I just gotta keep reminding myself that like there's a reason why I'm invited to go to these events, I'm invited to be a part of this group, I'm invited to be working with certain people because of the hard work that I put in to my small business, and it is successful and it is a small business. I am an artist, and I just gotta keep like having these positive affirmations said aloud to myself every single day so that I don't fall into the pit of this imposter syndrome all the time, especially when I'm like surrounded by people that I feel like are way more successful than I am, because honestly they are, and they worked really hard to get where they are, but that doesn't diminish the hard work that I put into my own small business. And rant. And thanks for listening to my TED Talk on kind of feeling this imposter syndrome, and hopefully it resonates with one of you guys too, of like anybody who's just starting out and like wanting to start a small business, or someone who's a few years in and still feeling this way, because you're not alone here. I'm on the same boat as you are. Okay, so it's November and I feel like I've been telling everyone that I'm taking a break from my business, but mostly like pop-ups, and everyone was so supportive of me just like taking a break, as if I needed like anybody's permission to. But I feel like now that I'm like in this break period and I'm seeing everyone do their holiday markets, I'm getting a little FOMO, and I wish I signed up for like at least one market to do, because I'm feeling a little left out. And I feel like at the same time, like maybe it's just in my own head, that I feel like I shouldn't be missing out on markets these next couple months, because it's like prime time for shoppers to buy your stuff. But at the same time, it's like I needed this break, you know. I feel like I can make those sales up back in December. It's fine. Like I don't need to do another market this month, especially when Thanksgiving is rolling around, and I know that even though it's like at the end of the month, it's gonna go by so quickly, and like tomorrow is gonna be Thanksgiving and I'm not gonna feel like I had a fulfilling break. Anyways, that doesn't stop me from doing other things like making clay or making videos. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I feel like I haven't touched my clay in a month or so, if not more, just because I haven't had to make anything in a while, but I just want to like play with it and like make some fun things. So I think what I'm gonna make are charcuterie boards, because I feel like I'm running out of that, and I feel like it's so fun to make the little berries, the little cheese, the little meats. So that's what I'm gonna do. But right now I'm just gonna mix some of the colors so that I can get the right shade of brown, so that it looks like a little board. But back to the topic of, you know, taking a break for this month. I feel like I'm not really posting too much. I'm posting like when I feel like it, or when I have, you know, content that I want to share. I definitely have been keeping up with like Instagram stories, because that's so easy for me to just like share my day to day. But when it comes to like posts and reels, I feel like I just post when I feel like it, rather than like having to really think about the content that I want to share, and like having to like have that pre-planned brainstorm. So I feel like not having to like really think about content like that has really just cleared up my mind to do other things, like making more clay designs or sticker design. I feel like I have like so many ideas for next year. The year is ending. I'm really, you know, just winding down and thinking about my business and how I want it to look next year and where it's going to go, because I feel like this year I definitely went like crazy with my business, especially when it came to pop-ups. I think by the end of this year I'll probably have like 18 or 19 pop-ups, and I started them like I think in April, so it's been 8 months of continuous pop-ups, but for next year I think I definitely want to cut down on the markets. Definitely want to be, you know, intentional about where I want to have my pop-ups and the type of products I'm bringing in, because I feel like this year, because I did so many, like I got to trial and error a lot of different places, different audiences, and I will say there are some markets that I don't think I would ever do again just because I don't think I fit the audience there. There are some markets that I want to be, you know, like a consistent vendor, because every time I go to like certain ones, they're like, oh, do you come here often? Like, do you always market here? And I want to be like one of those vendors who come there often. And there was one in particular that runs once a month, and I do want to join that one, and I think it starts like around April and it ends in October, like once a Saturday a month. I think, you know, it'll be fun to do that, especially because it's not like a huge commitment, it's once a month, and I think it would be my goal to do just like one market a month from like maybe March until the end of the year, which is basically what I've been doing. I've been doing more than that, but I think one is definitely doable. But also with cutting down markets, I feel like there comes a time of like, how am I gonna beat this year's sales, because I did so many this year, but I'm gonna cut down for next year. So I'm kind of stressed out about having to, I guess, beat last year's numbers. I think that's always the goal for a lot of small businesses, just because you don't want to be, you know, going downhill with your business, and a lot of businesses put a lot of their value on that sales number. So I guess I'm kind of stressed out right now about beating last year's number, and I'm stressed about that every single year, but at the same time I've never went backwards before and I have only gone up. But you know, I think why this year is, I feel like I have a lot more pressure in it, is because I feel like I don't know what else more I can do, because like for this year, I was like, oh, okay, I can add pop-up events to my repertoire and I could increase sales that way. But now it's like, okay, what else can I do? And I constantly have to think about, you know, the next thing, the next driver of this business. But like I said, I stress about this every single year. I think I really just have to do a good job of planning and seeing, you know, where my peak periods are, what month do I have to beat the most. I think like from what I remember of looking at my numbers, not that I memorized anything, is I had a really good month like in August, I think, because it was back to school time. I did a few markets, I think like 2 or 3 that month, and I just had a good online sales month. So that is one of the months that I feel like I'm gonna have to really plan heavy on so that I can make the same amount, if not more. When it comes to planning, I don't think I have anything like super concrete yet. But I have like, you know, concepts of what I want to do. For example, I just reordered some pins because I was running out on some of my favorite pins, like my frog boba pin. And I think that's all I'm gonna do when it comes to pins. I'm just going to have them and reorder them if need be. But I don't think I'm going to add any new pins at the moment, just because I feel like I have a good assortment going on. I have like about 20 pins, so like keep it for now until I have, you know, other parts of my business built out. For example, I really wanted to create more keychains. Okay, sorry. I can't figure out how to make this more brown. It's kind of like reddish. Not that I'm going on like a random tangent, but let me figure out this color first before I go on with my spiel. Maybe I just need like this color, this like yellowish color. But yeah, going back to my keychains, I want to make more basically. I have my 3 boba animal pins right now, and then I have my shrimp chip pins, and they all do really well, and like I continuously reorder them when I run out. But that's only 4 keychains, and compared to my pins, which again I have like about 20, I just want to build out my keychain a little bit more, just because a lot of people love keychains and I just don't have like a lot in my assortment. So I feel like I want to add on to that. I just haven't had the time to like sit down and really think about what designs I want my keychains to be. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing from like January to March, because that's the only time I don't think I'll have any pop-up events. I'm just going to be making things and designing, and I guess also resting before the craziness happens all over again. For my stickers, I feel like that's forever going to be growing. I feel like for stickers, I'll have like a design that just randomly comes up to me and I'll just make it and print it. But that one, I think I have a good assortment of. I just need to put more of them on my website because I just started it, and I feel like I put my best sellers up, but I have so many sticker designs that I just haven't had the time to upload yet. But I feel like I'm gonna probably remove stickers from my Etsy, because I feel like a lot more people on Etsy buy my pins and everything, and just like fees wise, I don't want to be paying fees on stickers when it's like $2-3. So I just don't think it's worth it to have stickers on my Etsy. Like if you want stickers, just buy it from my website. I'll include tracking and everything, so it's just so much more worth it to have a website just for stickers. Then when it comes to my clay stuff, which again I love making, I'm making some right now. I want to expand the different designs I have. I feel like I have a few core ones that I always bring to my markets, and I included some on my website as well. But I just want to make, you know, more designs, and then every time I go to a market, everyone's like, oh, is that a keychain? And I always have to tell them, no, it's a magnet. And so people would still buy the magnets, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are looking for like a clay keychain. So I want to be able to make some clay keychains next year, so I can like provide that option for people who love the design but don't necessarily want it as a magnet, they want it as a keychain. Other things on my list is I've always had these items just like in the back of my notebook of products I want to make, but never have the time to do. I've always wanted to make like notebooks, because I feel like I love journaling, I love doodling on a notebook, so it just makes sense to make a notebook. I just haven't had the time to like sit down and design a notebook, and I know I want it to look like a specific way. I wish I had the freedom to make certain pages very customizable to what I'm looking for, versus a lot of vendors that I'm seeing is you can only really update the cover page and the back page and that's it. But I guess I haven't had the time to really sit down and concept what the notebook would look like, so that's why that's always on the back burner. I've always also wanted to make like mugs or glassware and have my designs on it. Again, it's just things that I've never had the time to just design, and that's why it's taking so long, especially when it's like a new item for me. That's gonna take a lot longer for me to perfect. And then lastly, I wanted to increase the amount of notepads I have. I only have one design, and I've had that design since I think like 2022. And I just want to increase more because everyone loves a notepad and everyone at the markets love notepads. So I think I need to just increase that
even more, because like one design is just not enough. Like I need to have like at least 5 so that I can display it on like a little board for people to just pick out of. And all of this seems like a lot because my mind is just in a jumble of different ideas, and I'm in a really creative mood. So that's why I feel like I need like a day or a week to kind of just sit down and plan things out of like, I want to launch new keychains by a certain month, or I am gonna design X amount of whatever by a certain date. And having a plan and deadlines for myself is what's gonna be pushing me through and making me less chaotic. I guess for the rest of the month during my supposed break, I will be just doing things that I really enjoy doing, which has been playing with clay. And then 2, I've been really enjoying making YouTube videos, so I think I want to just focus on that for the remainder of this month. And in December I have, I think, 3 markets, so I'm gonna just get through that and then enjoy the rest of the holiday.